Omnes gentes claudica manemus, jubilate eo in voce exaltationes. Quoniam Dominus excelsus terribilis rex magnus somper omnem terram. Gloria Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sanctus, et in principio et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Omnes gentes claudica manemus, jubilate Deo in voce exaltationes. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Christe eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Kyrie eleison. Gloria in excelsis Deo, et terra pax omnibus bonis voluntatis. Laudamus te, benedicimus te, adoramus te, glorificamus te, gratias agimus tibi propter et magna gloria tua. Domine Deus et celestis Deus Pater omnipotens, Domine Filii unigenite Iesu Christe, Domine Deus Angeli Filius Patris, todos peccata mundi, miserere nobis, todos peccata mundi, suscipere precatione nostra, descendes ad extra Patris, miserere nobis, poneam tu solus sanctus, tu solus Dominus, tu solus Altíssimos Iesu Christe, cum Santo Spiritu in gloria Dei Patris. Amen. Domino Vobiscum. Oramus. Deus cuius providentia et sua dispositione non qualitur te supplices exoramus, noxia junta sub moveas et omnia nobis pro futura concelas, per Dominum nostrum Iesu Christum Fium tuum, in tecum vivet et regnat in unitate Spiritus Sancti Deus per omnia saecula saeculorum. Lectio Epistolae Beati Pauli Apostoli a Romanos. Fratres, humanum dico propter infirmitatem carnis vestre, sicut enim exhibuistis membra vestra servire in mundie. Per iniquitate ac iniquitatem infum exhibenter membra vestra servire justitiae in sanctificatione. Cum enim servi essentis peccati viveri justis justitiae. Quem ergo fructum abuistis, cum illis in quibus non herbisistis, nam finis illorum mors est, nunc verbo liberati a peccato servia in parti Deo. Abetis fructum vestrum in sanctificationem, finem vero vitam eterna. Stipendia enim peccati mors, gratia autem Dei, vita eterna, in Christu Iesu Domine nostro. Venite Filii, audite me, timorem Domine docevo vos, accelite ac eo, et illuminamini et paces vestre non confutentur. Alleluia, alleluia. Omnes gentes, plaudit manibus, jubilate Deo in voce exultationis, alleluia. Domino Vobiscum. Sequentia Sancti Evangelii secundum Mateo. In illo tempore disi Iesus discipules suis, attenete a falsis prophetis, qui veniunt ad vos in vestimentis ovium. Intrinsecus autem sunt lupi refaces, fructibus eorum conoscetis eos, nunquid collegium de spines suas aut de tribules ficus, sic omnis arbor bona fructus bonus facet, mala autem arbors malos fructus facet. Non potes arbor bona malos fructus facere, neque arbor mala bonus fructus facere. Omnis arbor que non facet fructum bonum excidetur, per infignam mitetur. Ignitor ex fructibus eorum cognoscetis eos. Non omnes qui dicet mihi Domine, Domine, intravit in regnum caelorum, sed qui faces voluntatem Patris mei, qui in caelis est, ipse intravit in regnum caelorum. Today's Mass has been offered for the eternal repose of Blessed Sacrament. Sadly, as you may know now, we are back to phase 1, so that's why we don't have people or more than 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in church because, the mandate that we should not worship inside of the temple. So we need to keep praying for our civil authorities that they may see, that they may be more merciful towards their own people. Anyways, for those who came to the plaza, the restrooms are not working here in the temple, but you can use the restrooms by the parish hall. If you go to your left of the church and then go to the right side of the parish hall, you will see a door open on the hall, almost at the end. That's the restroom, so you can use those restrooms. And we will continue to live stream the masses, funerals, and other sacraments. For now, if you have a sacrament, a pending sacrament, please call the office from Monday to Friday, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So they will clarify the issue right now, because we are dealing with a lot of sacraments that are pending, and it's getting complicated. Anyways, please stand up for the reading of the gospel. Again, if you're watching the live streaming online, please go to the description of the video and you might find, this is on YouTube, not on Facebook, on YouTube. Oh yeah, in Facebook too, yeah, I remember, they put it on Facebook too. So go on the description of the video and you can download the readings so you can follow along the readings in English. The gospel for today's Mass is taken from St. Matthew chapter 7. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in the clothing of sheep, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. By their fruits you shall know them. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, and the evil tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can an evil tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit shall be cut down and shall be cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits you shall know them. Not every one that said to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doth the will of my Father, who is in heaven, he shall enter into the kingdom of heaven." This is from the gospel of the Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I'm going to use this commentary that I recently received, a month already. It's called the Catena Aria. This is a commentary gathered by St. Thomas Aquinas from all the fathers of the church. It's a commentary on the gospel. It's a 4-volume for the 4 gospels. And he gathered all the commentaries from the church fathers, and also St. Thomas Aquinas adds some of his own commentaries on the gospel. It's a wonderful, wonderful book to have. Well, it's a collection of books. It's wonderful to have if you want to discern the words on the gospel. This is what the church fathers talk, and this is what the saints talk on the gospel. It's a wonderful thing. Just to give you a little taste of it. Here at the beginning, the pseudo Chris, I'm guessing is a pseudo Chrysostom or something like that. The Lord had before commanded his apostles that they should not do their alms, prayers, and fastings before men as the hypocrites, and that they might know that all these things may be done in hypocrisy. He speaks, saying, "Take heed of the false prophets." So this is an explanation of what the Lord was saying and why he was saying it. And as the Catholic Church does, we need to take the gospel in context. We need to consider the context of the gospel, what was going on before the parable or the phrase or the pericope that we are proclaiming, what was going on before, what was going on afterwards, what was going on around it, historically speaking, economically speaking, all the context that we can get so that we can see a bigger picture. Here, one of the church fathers is telling us that he was saying this about, warning the people about the false prophets because he saw the Pharisees praying out loud in the street, and he saw his intentions. They were doing these seemingly piety actions just because they wanted the people to see them. They were doing that for their own ego. They were doing that for their own glorification, not for the glorification of God. They were doing that because people were watching. That means they were doing something that was not honest, that was very hypocritical, and Jesus Christ called that out and said, "Don't be like these guys." And he said, "Be aware of these false prophets." False prophets that come, how does he say it? Which come to you in sheep's clothing. Now, this is something that it was new for me, because I didn't pay attention to that before. Usually, when we have this gospel, and if you see on Google or any other platform, search engine, and you look for the explanation or you look for something about this specific pericope in the Bible, in the gospel, usually they will place shepherds, with the clothing of a sheep. But he didn't say, "Be aware of the shepherds coming with sheep's clothing." He said, "Be aware of the false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing." So he wasn't really talking about all the leaders. He was talking about anybody who claimed to be a prophet, who claimed to say the truth, who claimed to be on God's side, coming like being very innocent, like being very nice, but in the end, they are wolves because they don't care about the sheep. They only care about themselves. This is a gospel that I think many of you will try to apply it in the state of the church. There is a crisis in the church. We acknowledge that. There is a crisis in the priesthood. We acknowledge that. And you may feel the temptation to say, well, that's because of the leadership. I will not say so much that is the entire fault on the leadership. Because we have had bad leadership. That's not, I don't deny it. Even right now, we might have some bishops and priests who are not pastors, who are not prophets. They just take care of themselves. They just look into themselves. They just do things so that other people will see it. They are trying to be so nice that people will not criticize them. But in the end, they are just worshiping themselves. Nevertheless, I will also say that a lot of people have the fault too, people in the late state, in the pews, because they don't want to fit themselves with good doctrine. Some of them some people might think they believe in God, but in the end, they don't really believe in Him. Some people want to believe that they believe, but they don't believe. Because when it comes to action, when it comes to prove your faith, when it comes to show your faith by doing good, by doing holy things, by being holy, it's very difficult. And some people actually will walk away. Or some people will follow the false prophets. Right now we have a lot of false prophets. Everybody has the answer. Politicians, groups, ideologies, social justice groups, they all have the answer. Oh, no. The answer is this. Come over here. Oh, no. The answer is over there. Go over there. Oh, no. We are doing better. Oh, no. We are better than our ancestors. Oh, no. We have the answer. And everybody is posing as a false prophets right now. But in the end, everyone is going to fail. We already see it. Politicians have failed. Ideologies have failed. Groups have failed. Even some social justice groups have failed, and have failed miserably, because when you embrace social justice just for the sake of social justice, the glorification is not for the people. It's obviously not for God, but the favor is not entirely for the people. Is the favor for the people who actually are doing social justice. It's like when they try to convert the church as a social justice non-profit organization. How many groups in the church who offer to help poor people do not want to do anything with spirituality. They don't want the people to know that they are Catholics. Some groups actually prohibit that the people who work in those organizations, they tell the people they are Catholics. What is that? The social doctrine of the church is not the social justice of the world. The social doctrine of the church states that we need to help the poor. We need to share with the poor so the poor might focus on going back to God. At the end, the focus has to be on God, not on the person. And that's something that even in the church we have failed. Because we will feed the poor, but we don't tell them where is that coming from. Some people will actually glorify themselves, saying, oh, I'm very good. I'm so good. I'm a good person because I help the poor. Yeah, but have you told them where is that help coming from? No. It's all for their own glorification. I'm the one. That is not the social doctrine of the church. The church asks you, if you have been blessed with material things, to help those who are less blessed, to help them, to restore their dignity so they can seek God. Because a person, when he's poor, when a person is struggling with trying to survive, is struggling with bills and stuff like that to provide for the family, they cannot focus on God. They can't. A poor person who is struggling to survive cannot focus on God because the same nature of a person will drive them to seek for survival. And that's what the church comes into saying, if you have, please help your brother and sister. So they will not be worried about the basic needs, and when they are not worried about the basic needs, then they will focus on God. At the end, that is the mission of the church. That is our mission, to bring people back to God. If you help people just for the sake of helping, then you are glorifying yourself. And you are not doing anything good. Because helping people, giving people free stuff, will make them to be lazy. They will grow with their mind of thinking that just because they were poor and they were marginalized, they will grow with that mind that they deserve everything, and now the government, the institutions have to pay for them everything. You are growing lazy people, useless, lazy people, when you don't help them to grow in their own humanity. The church cannot be complicit on that regards. The church needs to be a mother, to help them in their basic needs, but to push them so they can grow in virtue, they can grow in holiness, so they can seek a God and find him. That is the true doctrine, social doctrine of the church. So be aware of the false prophets who glorify themselves by showing everywhere that, oh, they are helping the poor. Oh, yeah, they will side with some organizations. Oh, yeah, these people has been marginalized. So now let us go to the revolution. But in the end, it's going to be an empty revolution. Because once you replace an oppressor with something else that is not God, then that something else will become the oppressor. Just look at the world right now. Those who are screaming that they were oppressed, now they are becoming the oppressors. Fighting evil with more evil. How is that about? How is that helping the world to become better? It will never help. It will never be enough. Only God, when we introduce God back to society, when we stop being bigots against Christians, that's when this society will turn and will grow and will be truly great, not just for political gain. This society, this nation, will be great when they open their hearts to God again. That is the only way you will see this nation to grow, when God is the leader. There is no politician, there is no man on earth that will change this nation. Only God. So be aware of the false prophets who want to take the place of God, because they are doomed and they are damned. They will not help you to grow. They will not help you to be better. Definitely, they will not lead you to holiness. Only those who worry about him, only those who work for true righteousness will help you to get to him. Be aware. And that is a call also for those who are fed enough with all the violence, with all of this. The church is looking for good men, brave, good men to step up and to do God's job. We are looking for good priests, for good seminarians, for good men and women also. We need good nuns. We need good religious consecrated virgins. We need good women who love God more than the world, to help the world to be better, to be holy. So if the Lord is calling you to be a good priest or a good nun, religious sister, do not be afraid. Be a good shepherd. That's what God is asking right now from the youth. He is looking for good shepherds. So please, don't be afraid. Step in. Take that leap of faith and be a good shepherd, because we have so many false prophets and we need to get rid of them. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. substantialem carni per quem omnia parta sunt. Proper nos homines et proper nostram salutem descende de celes, et incarnatus est Spiritus Sancto ex Maria Virgine, et homo factus est. Crucifixus etiam pro nobis voce Pilato passus et sepultus est. Et resurrexit tertia die secundum Scripturas. Et ascendere in cielo sedet ad exterram Patris. Et iterum venturus est cum gloria judicare vivos et mortuos, cuius regni non erit finis. Et in Spiritum Sanctum Dominum et vivificantem, qui ex Patre Filioque procedit, quincum Patre et Filio simul adoratur, et cum glorificatum Filocutus et per profetas. Et unam stantem catholicam et apostolicam potestam, ofiteorum baptisma in abolitionem peccatorum, per expecto resurrectionem mortuorum, et vitam vertiri seculae. Amen. Domino Proviscum, oremus. Sicut in holocaustis arietum et taurum, et sicut in milidus agnorum pinguin, sic fiat sacrificium nostrum in prospectu tuo odie, ut placea tibi quia non est confusio confidentibus in te. Amen. qui cum unigenito Filio tuo Spiritus Santo, unos es Deus, unos es Dominus, non in unio singularitate personae, sed in unio unitate substantiae, quod eniam de tua gloria revelante te credimus hoc de Filio tuo, hoc de Spiritus Santo, sine differentia descriptiones sentimos, quod in confessione veris supplicamento dignitatis, et in personis por pietas, et in essentia unitas, et in majestatia verectere qualitas, quam laudan angeli ante arcangeli, cherubim, quoque ac seraphim, qui non cessant clamare quotidiae una voce dicentes, Sanctus, Sanctus, Sanctus Dominus Deus Sabaoth, plenius in cieli et terra gloria tua, sana in excelsis, benedictus qui venit in nomine Domini, Hosanna in excelsis. Pax et gloria. Pax Domini sit semper et vobiscum. Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi, miserere nobis. Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi, miserere nobis. Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi, dona nobis pace. Domine non sum dignos. Domine non sum dignos. Domine non sum dignos. Ecce Agnus Dei, ecce qui tollis peccata mundi, Domine non sum dignos, ritere subtetum meam setantis verbos in habitor anima mea, Domine non sum dignos, ritere subtetum meam setantis verbos in habitor anima mea, Domine non sum dignos, ritere subtetum meam setantis verbos in habitor anima mea. Sancti Evangelii secundum Ioannem. In principio era verbum, et verbum era apud Deum, et Deus era verbum, hoc era in principio apud Deum. Omnia per ipsum facta sunt, et sine ipsum factum ex nihil quod factum est. In ipso vita era, et vita era lux hominum, et lux in tenebris lucet, et tenebre eum non comprehenderum, quid homos visus ad Deum, cui nomen era Ioannes, hic perit in testimonium. Ut testimonium per vivere de lumine, ut omnes crederem per illum. Non era ille lux, sed testimonium per vivere de lumine. Era lux vera, que illuminat omnem omnium venientem in numbum mundum. Mundo era, et mundus per ipsum factus est, et mundus eam non ignovit. In propria venit et sui eum non reciperem. Quod autem reciperem eum stedit, et is potestate filios ei fieri. Is qui credunt in nomine eius, qui non ex sanguinibus, neque ex voluntate carnis, neque ex voluntate viri, sed ex Deo natis sunt. Et verbum carum factum est. Et habitabit in nobis, et vidimus gloriam eius, gloriam quasi unigenita Patri, plenum gratia veritatis. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre.
Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, our life, our sweetness, and our hope. To thee do we cry for banished children of Eve. To thee do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. Turn then, most gracious Advocate, thine eyes of mercy toward us. And after this our exile, show unto us the blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus. O clement, o loving, o sweet Virgin Mary, pray for us, O Holy Mother of God. Oremus. Deus refugium nostrum et virtus populum anteclamatem propitius respice, per intercedente gloriosa e immaculata Virgine Dei Genitrice Maria, beati Iosef eius sponsor a beatus apostoles tuis Petro et Paulo, Hieronymus Sanctis, quas pro conversione peccatorum, pro libertate et exaltatione Santa Mater Ecclesiae Preces Fundum, misericordias benignus et salvi, per unicum Christum Domine nostrum. Amen. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl around the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Most Sacred Heart of Jesus,